Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young princess named Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. Her beauty was unmatched, but her stepmother, the queen, was envious and cruel. The queen possessed a magic mirror that she would often consult, asking, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" For many years the mirror answered, "You, O queen, are the fairest of them all." But one day it replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen's jealousy turned to rage, and she resolved to eliminate her rival. She ordered a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. But the huntsman, moved by Snow White's innocence and kindness, couldn't bring himself to do it. Instead, he let her go and told her to run far away. He presented the queen with a boar's heart as proof of his deed. Alone and frightened, Snow White wandered through the dense forest until she came upon a quaint little cottage. The cottage belonged to 7 dwarfs: Duck, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. When they returned home from the mine that evening, they found Snow White asleep across their tiny beds. The kind-hearted dwarfs offered Snow White a safe haven. In return, she kept their cottage tidy and cooked delicious meals. They warned her never to let anyone into the cottage, for they feared the queen might discover her hiding place. Meanwhile, the queen's mirror revealed the truth. Snow White was still alive. Furious, the queen disguised herself as an old peddler woman and set out to find the princess. She arrived at the dwarf's cottage and offered Snow White a shiny red apple. Trusting the kind-looking stranger, Snow White took a bite. The moment the apple touched her lips, Snow White fell into a deep, death-like sleep. The queen had poisoned it with a sleeping spell. When the dwarfs returned, they were heartbroken to find Snow White lifeless. They built her a glass coffin and placed it in a clearing. They kept vigil day and night. One day, a prince traveling through the forest saw Snow White in her glass coffin and was captivated by her beauty. He asked the dwarfs for permission to take her to his castle. As his servants carried the coffin, they stumbled, dislodging the piece of poisoned apple from Snow White's throat. She awoke, alive and well. The prince and Snow White fell in love and were soon married in a grand celebration. The evil queen, upon hearing of Snow White's wedding, was consumed by her own rage and jealousy. Her power faded, and she was never seen again. Snow White and her prince lived happily ever after, and the 7 dwarfs remained her lifelong friends. The end.